Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into something called scientific or intellectual movements, SIMs for short. These are pretty powerful forces that can fundamentally reshape how we think, what we know. You might not even realize how much they influence things around you.
Exactly.
Right.
And we're not just talking minor adjustments here. These are often profound transformations in knowledge. We'll dig into, a theory about why some ideas really catch on, challenge how things are, and end up redefining whole fields.
Okay, so what is a SIM, fundamentally? How do they actually work to challenge the landscape?
Well, at their core, SIMs are basically collective efforts, people getting together to push for new research programs, new ways of thinking, and they often face resistance. It's about turning these sometimes contentious ideas into knowledge that's widely shared and can be scrutinized.
Right. I'm thinking of an example maybe like the law and society movement. That seems to fit. It wasn't just a small change, was it? It felt like a really concerted pushback in the 50s and 60s.
That's a perfect example, yeah. They wanted to shift from just looking at law in the books, the traditional legal theory stuff, to law in action.
So how law actually works day to day.
Precisely. Drawing heavily on social sciences.
Yeah.
That was a huge break from the past, and they really had to fight for legitimacy against the old guard.
So why do some of these succeed? You mentioned a theory, four propositions.
That's right. Okay, first proposition. SIMs are more likely to get off the ground when high-status people within a field feel, well, dissatisfied. They have grievances about the dominant way things are done.
High status people. So established figures feeling something's wrong. Why is their dissatisfaction so key?
Well, think about it. They have credibility already, right? Security, often tenure. They have this sort of intellectual capital to invest in a challenge. The professional risks are lower for them, and sometimes they're even expected to come up with disruptive ideas.
Got it. Like, Harold Garfinkel challenging his own mentor, Talcott Parsons, that sparked ethnomethodology.
Exactly. A major figure taking a big intellectual risk. That gives a new movement a powerful start.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second proposition?
Second, success really depends on structural conditions. Access to key resources is vital.
Resources like?
Things like financial support grants, funding, opportunities to publish, and, critically, jobs for the people involved.
So it kind of bursts the bubble that brilliant ideas just magically win out on their own merit. They need fuel.
Absolutely. You need the infrastructure. Plus, you're often dealing with intense competition for prestige. Randall Collins called it the law of small numbers. There's really only space for a few dominant approaches at any one time. Breaking in is tough.
Right, like experimental psychology fighting for its place against philosophy in 19th century Germany. It needed to build its own distinct scientific identity and resource base.
Precisely. Okay, third point. Success also hinges on access to what we call micromobilization contexts.
Micromobilization contexts sounds like the ground game, where you actually find and recruit people.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. These are local places. Think academic departments, research labs, conferences, especially places where training happens, where those crucial student-mentor bonds form. That's where recruitment often happens.
Like how Émile de Bois-Reymond built his following in German physiology, using his lab and classroom.
Exactly that. He created a whole school by directly recruiting and training students in his specific methods. Very effective.
Okay, so high status dissatisfaction, resources, local recruitment spots. What's the fourth factor?
The fourth is all about how the ideas are framed, how they're presented to resonate with people in that field.
So the storytelling matters. It's about packaging the ideas.
Yes, very much so. It involves shaping the movement's identity, crafting its history, positioning it against competitors. Good framing helps potential recruits see the movement as, well, legitimate and aligned with their own intellectual goals and identities.
Interesting, like the rise of French theory in the US. It wasn't just the ideas themselves, but how they were framed to speak to existing debates about objectivity and interpretation.
Exactly. The framing created a demand, a space for those ideas to land and resonate.
Now, are these SIMs basically the same as broader social movements? There seem to be parallels.
There are similarities, definitely, but also key differences. SIMs are typically much smaller in scale, and the risks for participants are usually professional, maybe losing credibility, funding issues, rather than, say, imprisonment or physical danger you might see in some social movements.
That's a really important distinction. The stakes are different, even if they're high professionally.
Right. And another difference is that SIMs are, as we discussed, often led by those high-status insiders, people with the security and track record to afford taking those intellectual risks.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the big takeaway for someone listening? When you see a new idea, maybe a new trend in science or tech or even the arts gaining steam, don't just look at the idea itself.
All right, ask yourself, could this be a new sim forming? Look deeper. What are the underlying conditions? Who's driving it? Do they have resources? Where are they connecting? And crucially, how are they framing it? Understanding that gives you a much richer picture of how knowledge actually changes and maybe where things are headed next.